Okay, hello. How are you? Let me know on Slack, please, if you hear me okay and you see me okay. Okay. Thank you, Theo, for letting me know. I've been resetting my audio settings, my mic, so try something new. So I hope there is less static this time. So there are a couple of you joining. So let's wait until it's 6 o'clock. Um, if you can hear me, hope you can hear me and everybody's in the right place. Let me know on Slack if you want to register for the Intro to Web Design that starts November 10th. If you Slack me either privately or on the Tuesday class channel, I can add you to the registration list so you don't have to register yourself. And that's going to start in 2 weeks. It's not going to be next week. It's going to be the following Tuesday, November 10th, same time. And it will be 4 classes. And we will do HTML, CSS. It's just an intro. It's an intro to web design. So I show you how to use a terminal, the CS50 terminal, how you can use it to write HTML code, how the HTML and the CSS connects each other. So the HTML is the code that have like the framework of your website, tells you how big it's gonna be, if it's gonna be columns. Can you just reg on the EPPL website? I don't understand reg and I don't understand EPPL. Register. Yeah, but if you tell me you don't have to register, I register you. So you save that step. So if you tell me you want to do the intro to web, you don't have to go through that. So just let me know so I know that you want to do it. You can do on a private email, and I just go and put all of you, anybody on my Excel sheet, so everybody's registered. So for web design, let me see if I have some files here that I can show you. Yeah. Let's see, where are my web design files? I think I delete them all. Okay, so the web design, if you are looking at my screen, so we will write this code and I'll show you what all these tags are, how do they work and why are necessary. And then we will, then after you do this, which is like the framework of a HTML of a website, like the backbones, then when CSS, you can add color, you can add interactive features, and then I'll show you how to maybe use off-the-shelf items that you can use incorporated, and maybe we can use a little Python if we have time. But it's just an intro to give you, yeah, yes, Natalie, if you let me know that you want to, I just register you and you don't have to do anything else. I register you and you'll send you an email that, hey, you have class on Tuesday. So that saved you time, it saved me time too. Okay, so already some of you, so thank you. Okay, I'm looking at your code, Natalie. And okay. Okay, cool. Like it. Thank you, everybody who sent their code. Pretty cool. I have fun looking at them. And thank you so much for following this class. And I hope you have fun. I have fun. Um, but I like things like that. So I think this is fun. I like to play with it, but I don't like to be in a tight schedule. So I like to play on my own time. So that's why I like to do these classes, because it's on my own time. It's not in somebody else's time. Okay, so let's see. We have 12 watching. Yeah. So thank you again for joining on YouTube. I know we all wish to be on Zoom, but the library only has few accounts, and today they are busy. So thank you so much. And I see 12 of you found me, so cool, very cool. And if you have any trouble listening or something happened, let me know on the Tuesday class. So again, if you wish to take the next session, which start November 10th, Intro to Web Design, is that intro. Web design is different than Python. It's much the you can do a lot with knowing a little bit, and the fun part is to get to where you add colors and you can design websites. It's not designing as like, I don't teach you how pretty a website is. I'll give you ideas how you can find the theory, the information, but as the design is mostly if you want columns, if you want boxes, if you want to add color, if you want to change the font, that kind of things, and some interactive features. Okay, so if you want to take it, just let me know on Slack, send me a private message, and I add you to the spreadsheet, and then I'll send you an email. It'll be in 2 weeks, November 10th, so same time. And hopefully I have Zoom that day, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, so today, as you know, is the last class. I'm gonna put for Python. So I'm gonna put the lesson on the. Okay, thank you, Ningbu. I'll add you. So I'm gonna put the lesson for Python on the class link, the Tuesday class channel on Slack. So again, if you are on YouTube, please write me on Slack. So because I have like 5 screens here, so I can just look at one screen. So if you did your code for last week, let me know. I'll take a look as soon as the class finish. I'll take a look. Some of you already did an awesome job. I'm really happy that you stick with it, because that's the hardest part, is to do this on your own. And so bravo for sticking to it and taking the time for doing those snippets of programs. And if you haven't done that yet, you have till December. Just let me know you're on Slack and take your time, and I'll look at it. Okay, so if you're looking at the lesson for today, I have put here some information. I have also put a survey. I'm gonna put it back on the Slack too. So if you can let me know how this helped you, is on Slack. It's like 4 questions. So whenever, you don't have to do it now, whenever you can, just do it. And web design start November 10th at 6 p.m. So some of you gave me some of your code for even and odd and positive. Awesome job. One of the things that I would like to let you know again and again, because this is something that happens to a lot of us. So is the difference between 1 equal and 2 equals. So when you have 1 equal, like this, what you see right now on the screen, let me make it a little bit bigger. you are assigning a value to a variable. So 1 equal in Python is assigned a variable. So A here is 21. B is 10. So 1 equal is assigned a value. If you are comparing two variables, use 2 equals. So 2 equals is the logic comparison in Python. So it's 2 equals. So if you were doing the even and odd, you will have to do module. You have to do the module is the percentage, which is a module in Python, and then equal equals 0. So that's very common. If you, I mean, I have done this many times, confuse 1 equal with a 2 equal. So it's everybody does it. So if you did it, well, you're part of a big group. And if you don't do it, just have in mind that 2 equals is a logic conditional, is a comparison. So it's a logical statement. So last week with the if else, and some of you practiced it very good. So remember, with if else is a logic, you have to have two options that don't clash with each other. They exclude each other, and you can have a lot of if else. You can do if else. I think I have one here. Maybe I didn't show you that one. That you can do long. Yeah, you can do an if. So I'm gonna put this one so you guys can see it on the. So this is an example of an elif. So you can have different conditions too. So you don't necessarily have to have two conditions. You can have more. You can do, this can be much larger. You can do elif, and the first condition has to be if, and the last is going to be else. So this can become much larger. So I think I have one is larger than that. It goes forever. So it can, if you want, it can be very specific. Let me see. See, yeah, this one, it goes a little. So, and you can also have like an if else, and then if else, and if else. You can also have nested ones. The trick is not to get the logic too complicated, because then you forget what you're doing. So I'm going to put this one also on the Tuesday class, so you can practice it. And I was wondering, one of the things I tried to, I would like to know how do you feel about now? Did you feel more comfortable now than before taking another class that is more self-paced? Like if you are trying to learn more Python, I hope this class help you to kind of take those training wheel off and go on yourself and try to follow another tutorial, or maybe take another class somewhere else that can increase your expertise in Python. I hope, because the whole idea is this class is taking you from a point that maybe you never done a terminal, maybe you never felt comfortable enough to start this on your own, and now you are comfortable enough to take this on your own and know for sure that you can do it. And if you still have problems, you still feel like you need to work a little bit more, maybe become more confident, please send me stay on Slack and keep working on it. Anytime you have any questions, just Slack me and I'll look at your code. Then we're gonna go, so we did last week. Yeah, the recommendations and tutorials, I'm gonna add them. They are here on this presentation. You can click here, and I have some more information here, and I'm not gonna go through it, but it is a lot. I put a lot of those things. There is one universal class, is a class in free for EBPL patrons. So you can click on that too. Yeah, but and then if you go on Slack and you go more training, I have put a big list there too. So if you have done the even and even odd, that's a very common program that students have to do in college. And you can do like multiple of 7. You can make it more complicated. So for this one, the trick was use the module. So you have to get your user input like we did last time, and it's not here, it's missing, but you remember for user input. And then the logic if the number that you are being provided, module 2. So the module is when you do division, the module is if the residual that you get on the division. So if you divide 4 by 2, you get your residual is 0. So the module is the residual. So it's no percentage here. So the number module 2, if it's an even number, the residual is going to be 0. So you are comparing here to 0. You are not assigning 0 to this variable. You are comparing 2 elements here, 2 items, num module 2 with 0. So if num module 2 is equal to 0, if that's true, if that statement is true, then the number's even. Else is odd, because it's they cancel each other out. So it's either even or odd. So there is no overlapping. So if you did this, you have figured out that you have to put 2 equals and you have to use the module. So that's a very common thing. And today we're going to talk about this parenthesis. We haven't talked about this. It's called a format string, so we're going to talk about that a lot in a little bit. So any questions about even, odd? Okay, I don't see any question on the Tuesday class, so I'm going to move along. So then functions. So last week we did some functions. With the functions, you have to do them in certain way. So for example, this is to prove if a number to test if a number is positive or not. So the first function here, we had the choice to create a function that obtain the number, ask the user for a number, and then a function that so the first one is okay, so this function here is gonna prompt the user to give me a number, and then this one is gonna speed it. So this works better if I do it here. So let me find my positive number. Where is it? Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, so let me put this so you can do it as well. I'm going to put it on Slack so you can do it as well. Okay, so one of the things to have here in mind is that to get the library, the function, built-in function getInt from the CS50 library. So that's the first thing you do. The second thing is you have to function main function and the getPositive function. This main function is optional, but I wanted to show it to you because it's something that it becomes very popular in Python, that you always have a main function. So that's why I left it there. It could do more sophisticated things. Right now, it's just gonna print the answer. So, and then one of the things here, we call the function. So as you can see here where it says main parenthesis, we are calling the first function, the function called main. If you see here, we are not calling get positive. Get positive is called here. Okay, so first this happened, and then this happened. So this is the first function, and this is if you consider the steps. So let's do it. See, it makes more sense when I do it. So I have to see where I am. So I'm gonna go to my directory, my file, and then where am I? And then I have to go to my other folder because I put it here in conditionals. I hope everybody by now feels comfortable using the terminal. I think it's one of the hardest part of all this experience is trying to use the terminal. So I'm gonna run the Python program, positive py, and you're gonna see what happens. So right now, it's asking me, see, it's telling me positive integer. So while line is positive integer at. So if anybody tell me, while line is where it says print positive in, what is telling, is prompting it, is making this happen. Do you know? While line, this positive integer prompt, what line here is making it happen? Line 14. So anybody else has any questions or any idea? Okay, so here, as you see here in line 14, that's the command, the user command that, remember we did it last week, is the input user command. Is telling the user, give me a positive integer. So how is telling me that? By saying positive integer. So I'm gonna put a positive integer here. I'm gonna put 100 and press enter. And then it's gonna print out 100. So then what happened is, so if it's greater than 0, it breaks. Did you see that? So if it's greater than 0, it's gonna break. So what is break? Anybody knows what break is? This command here. I think we haven't seen it before. Yeah, stop. It gets out of the program. Exit or escape is the same, like escape function. So you're out of it. So you see here on the terminal is I got out. I got another terminal line. So I'm gonna run it again, and I'm gonna put a -100 and see what happened. So it's asking me, yeah, come out of the loop, right? Thank you, Province. Yeah, it comes out of the loop. So you can actually do breaks inside loops to get out of that loop. So yeah, that's exactly the definition. It gets out of the loop. You do that if you are also afraid to get a forever loop. If you are concerned that you're gonna get a forever loop, you do that. Because we have this while true, I can become a forever loop if it never comes out. So that's why anytime we have while true, we're gonna have a break. To go back to that, so I ran it again, and I put a negative number. So here the logic is that it tells me if it's greater than 0, it breaks. But I didn't put I put a negative number. So what is gonna happen? is gonna return. So return is not the same than print. Return is just the program is returning to the computer, but it's not printing it. So that's a key. This function is not spitting the answer. It's not printing the answer. It's not printing the number. So I'm gonna run it again because it said while true is running. So I can do here minus 50, minus 10, minus 5, and I can go minus 400. I can go do this forever, right? So what's happening is here is end return, and then it's gonna go here. I is gonna get the positive. So here it's gonna keep asking me. This is happening. So I'm still on this function. I'm still on this function. I haven't got out of that function. So I'm gonna get out of the function when I break. So now I'm gonna put 100, and then it prints it. So what line is printing this 100? So you have to find a line that says print. And where is that line? No, it's not a return, sorry. That was a trick question, my bad. Is line 8. What is a line 8? Print I, and what is I? There is a lot of slack in there. Yeah, and that's the thing, it's confusing because see, Praveen used return value, but here it says return, right? It's return, but the I, here I'm printing I, so it's better to say it's printing the I. Where does this I come from? It is not a user input. This I comes, see this I here on line 7. This I come from something start with F. Yeah, the I come from the function. From the function, exactly. From the function. What is the function? Get positive int. So you see line 7 and line 12 are connected. So line 7 gets the return value of the function get positive int. So this is like if you're doing a circuit or you're connecting cables, this is where all the are connected. So the key here is I'm calling the main function at the end. So line 20 is very important. If I turn off line 20, I'm gonna get an error and I'm not running anything. So line 20 is actually calling this function. It's like pressing a button and saying, give me line 20. Give me main. Main is gonna say, give me this function, positive. And then positive is gonna say, give me a number. And then it goes backwards. So you get a number. If it's greater than 0, it goes back to main, and then main spits out the number. So so that's the way functions work. This is a very interesting case, and that's the way somebody last week was asking how do you, if you have indentations, how come you can write, how do you write long code in Python? But this is the answer. You don't write long code in Python, you do functions. And then in main, here in main, that's where you call the function. So you might have here several functions here that you are calling. So you might have, if you have more functions here, you can have here def function 2, and then def function 3, and then here you're gonna call function 2, and you're gonna have function 3, and then main is gonna run everything. It's gonna run everything. So main is your final button. It's like the start button. So this is the way you write in Python. You don't write long code. You try to put everything in function in chunks, and all these functions are gonna connect in main. Okay, so now that you know that, you can go back to this one that you all did, the even and odd, and make it into something like that. So try to make the even and odd program into a main function. Main and maybe an even if function, where you will have here a main and kind of like this, and then you're gonna call main here, kind of like what we just did. So you want to try that? Not now, but after class. You can try that and then let me know if it works. So this is one of the things you have to do it yourself in order to make sense. So the function is you call here, you define the function, and then you call the function underneath. If you have to put the main here at the bottom. If you don't put it at the bottom, it'll give you an error because the compiler runs from the top to the bottom. So it's kind of like they have to go this way. Okay. So any questions about that? You guys did very good. This takes a little bit of practice. I remember I had to do that for a class. And, but let me know how it goes. Okay, so now we're gonna go to strings and string concatenations and looping through strings, and that's gonna be the part where you might want to, if you go into data science or SQL, that's where things get interesting with Python. So there are different ways to print out strings on Python as any other language. So the main way, the main one is like this one. You just put a plus. So it's a concatenation of strings. So what it is you're mixing strings with variables. So for example, here is what's your name? And then you can add hello and then the name of the person. So how do you mix something is a string, a text, with a variable that is going to change? So the way you do it is you put the part is going to stay fixed. It's going to stay always the same. You put it in quotes, and then you add plus to the variable. So let's try and see. Where is my function? What's the name of this function? String 0. So I need to go here, string 0. No. Okay, here it is. Then I have to move it. I'm gonna put it on the Slack so you all can test it. And I put different things on. Um, I um, um, I shaded out. I put the pound so I can turn all on and off those lines. So let me get situated here where I'm supposed to be. So I have to do go one directory, and I need to run Python string.py. No, I'm not in the right one. Oh, it's big. Okay, I have to go. I'm not in this right one. String. Where is it? Okay, I'm gonna misspell it. Python string py. Oh, I know. So this is, I getting an error because cannot import get string because I have something wrong in this code. So see, I got a debugging error here. So it's telling me I cannot import get string from CS50. I don't know why. I did something weird. Let me see if I can run the other one. Python string 0 w2py. No. So it seems like there is something. I tried it before. I don't know. You run it on your side. Let me know if you're having the same problem. I ran it like an hour ago and it was working. So let me refresh this. Maybe I just need to refresh it. But anyway, try to run it and see if it works for you. No, it cannot get that library. It seems like it lost connection to the library. So I have a backup here. So anyway, I better go through this and then we can test it out. So the output for this would be if you get string, what's your name, and I put Isabel. So I type Isabel. The output will be Isabel, comma, and then space. I mean, no, it's not. It's gonna be. It's gonna be hello, comma, space, and then it's gonna put the S is right here. Is the user input. So that's how it's gonna came out. So if you put another name, it'll say hello. So this is with the plus. If you so let's try the other one. So the other way to do it is this one. So you see it's very similar, but it has a comma. So that's gonna happen. You can concatenate those two, but with a comma. So it'll be the same output. It's just a different way. And then you can also use what's called a F string, which is what we saw up here on here. It's called a F string. And this is sometimes is more, it saves time because you can write a whole concatenation of strings and variables and don't have to use comma and plus and all that stuff. So for that one, you put an F here, so this F, and anytime, anywhere where you have a curly brace, it's gonna be a variable. So you just put the name of the variable inside the curly brace. The main thing is to put our quotes. So you put quotes here and you put quotes here. So the F is gonna be outside the quotes, and then you put quotes, and then you put the curly braces, and the S is the variable. So that's the way you mix variables with text. So anybody has any luck running the code I just gave you? I'm gonna try to do something else and see if it's C6 CB2 and then Python string 0 BY. Yeah, so it's something in my code is wrong. So I'm gonna put here, this is the one I'm running now. No, I'm gonna run this one. So I can run it here so you can see how is it working. So this one is gonna ask me for input. Okay, this is not the one I wanted to run. Okay, so this is another one I wanted to run. So let's do this one here. And then cd1, and then I'm gonna do string Python string 1 0 by. Okay, now we are where we want to be. So string 0. Okay, so this one is the concatenation. Okay, yeah, I think I have something like that. Thank you, Natalie. So the first one is telling me what's your name, and this is the style they're using with the plus. So I put my name, and then I get, and remember they put a space, because if you don't put the space, everything is gonna be all together. So you put the space up for legibility, and then also it's a way of design the user input experience. So let's run the other one, which is this one, so you can see the difference. Python and a string, what is it, 1 py, and it's asked for my name, and then it's the same thing, but now it's a comma, and then string 2 is this one, and this is an F string, and you can change this. I can put here another curly brace, and save this and run it again. And you can see here it shows up. My name shows up. So anywhere, and you can keep writing here. You can keep writing. And if you have another variable that you want to put in there, you can put it in there. We don't have another variable, so I just put S. And you can keep writing. And as you can see, this is much easier than comma and plus, and then you can run it. And you can have here, if you have other variables, you can put, like, I can put here a equal cat, and you can even create one of those games, those Mad Libs, and you can run this here, cat is not defined because I had to put it on in quotes. So Isabel, and then see it says cat. So you can start making maybe Madlib. Yeah, I don't know why I think Natalie ran it. I'm gonna give you this code that I know it works. So try this one and maybe it works. I'm sure it's something dumb that I haven't figured out yet. The thing that we found out the quotes. Let me save this as text files, and then I'm gonna see if I export it as a text file. I can also try to save it as a text file, but I don't see it. So just be careful with the quotes because sometimes they change. We have noticed that they change from one place to another. But try the one I just put and see if it works better. I have to troubleshoot it. I'll troubleshoot the other one and see how it works after class. So let me know if it's still not working. Okay, so that's another way to put strings. So you can put like a Madlib or create story or put a bunch of variables there. So now this is the last part that we're gonna have today is about array. So as you know about math, an array is data in columns and rows, and if you have you can iterate through that, you can run through that. In Python they call them list, but I think everybody says array most of the time because it's the old school. But anyway, those are called lists in Python. So a Python for the for loop can iterate through on a list. So what is a list? So what happens is when you type a word, it's a string, and a string becomes a list. So what happens is when you create a list, you create it with these brackets. So a list is going to have brackets, and it's going to assign each element. It's going to be assigned between these commas. Like you see here, make it bigger. There. So like you see here, the word apple, that's a list. Each position of that has an index. So the first position has an index of 0. The second position is 1. The third position is 2. So actually the index is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can do a negative index if you start the other way around, as you start from here there. The length is 5 because you count them. You don't start from 0, you start from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the index is gonna start at 0, and that's why when we do our for loops, we start with 0. So you remember when we did the for loops before. I don't have a for loop here. Let me find a for loop. Oh, I have one here. When we did the for loops in range 4, remember the I was 0. So it's actually goes 0, 1, 2, 3, so start at 0. So the same thing is happening here. And I lost my place. So you're gonna start with 0. And the cool thing is gonna remember is if you tell them go to index 1, it's gonna go here. Go to index 4, it's gonna go here. So that's pretty cool. So this is a list. So you can put assign you can store data in a list by putting single quotes. And then if you want the length of a list, you can just do LEN parentheses and you put the list in there. So we're gonna try to loop through. So this is a list, and then there is I can put here underneath different things that you can do with a list. So this would be a list of numbers. This one will be an empty list. You can add things to a list. So append will add a number to the last part of the list, and so if you can remove things and add things, you can go specifically somewhere inside the list. So it becomes a very useful tool, especially if you're dealing with data. So now we can loop through strings. So strings in Python are arrays or lists of bytes. So for example, if this is, I assign this string to the variable A, and then I'm gonna print A, and the index is gonna be 1, not 0, 1. What letter is gonna get printed? Anybody knows? Yeah, very good. It's gonna be print E, E. So, and so on. If I put here 0, the letter is gonna be printed. It will be H. So this one is gonna be index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The comma will have its own place. This empty space will have its own place. So if you put this on a list, if I put this on a list, it will be like this. It'll be, I'm gonna save the quotes for now. It's gonna be H, E, L, L, O, then comma, it will have its own comma. So you see the comma is between its comma, then it'll have an empty space. It will be an empty space, then it'll be W, then O, R, L, D, and exclamation point. So that's the way Python sees strings. Any string, any text that you put between those quotes, it's gonna read it, it's gonna take apart every single letter. This is gonna be its own location. This space is gonna be its own location. So everything there is gonna have its own location. So let's play around with this one. I hope it works. Well, I have it right here. Where do I have it? Now I'm just gonna copy paste it here because otherwise we're gonna be here forever. Where was I? String 2. String 2. String 1. Okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna take the other one. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this here so we can do this. Okay. So I'm gonna put here, oh, what did I do? This is not what I want to do. Oh, I know what I did. There it is. Okay, so I have I'm gonna just leave that there. And Okay. So right now I'm gonna get string is gonna ask me for an input, and it's gonna see here print output, right? But the output, and then it's gonna do a for loop. So it's gonna take the text I gave it, and it's gonna print it in this funky way. Oh, this is what I'm gonna say. So it's gonna print it by location. So let's see if it's gonna work. This is one. So it's gonna ask me for an input. So I'm gonna put apple for now. Apple. And you see the way it printed it out? It print A here, print the output. So it's gonna print this for loop here. So it's print output first, print output, and maybe I remove here. I'm gonna remove this so it's easier to read. There it is. So it's gonna print the word output, and then it's gonna do this loop. And anybody knows why it got printed like that in a column and not in a row? So the key is on line 9. So that's what is called looping through strings. Yeah, so the N, I removed this so the A will print underneath the output. That's correct. But how we get the letters, those apple, written in a vertical way? Yeah, it's part of is because I didn't put the N, but part is because it's SI. So this I refers to what? What index is referring to? The list index. So this is gonna print, yeah, exactly. It's going through the element of the array for string and printing them one by one because I put I. So the I is the index. So the first one is 0. The second one is 1, and so on. And it's a for loop, so it's gonna stop when it get to the length of the string, which is it's gonna be 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's gonna stop. So that's why we use the length. So if I use this other line here and I put print S3, what is gonna print? So if I'm using line 10, which is the index 3, what letter is gonna print? Okay. So it's gonna print, but see, it's gonna print it 4 times, right? Because we're just repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. So imagine how useful is this, that you can take text data and then manipulate it. So you can actually move things around. You can engineer this. Maybe you want to print something different. Maybe you want to add here +1. So it kind of goes crazy like that. So you can, let's see what happens if I do that. So this one, because it's a short word, but if I do the apple tree is green. Oh, it didn't do that. Why it didn't do that? It should have done that. So maybe, so maybe I just do this, I plus 1, and see if that takes it. No, it didn't take that one. Well, there is a way to do that. That you can play around with these numbers and actually, so you can put print s I maybe times 2, but that's gonna be too big, plus 2. See if that's gonna be string. No, it's that, oh, because it's getting out of range. So anyway, you can have another string, you can have another input and mix it up. So if I have another S here, I can put maybe B equal, and I can put a variable here, and then they can get mixed. So I can put here apple, and then I can put here B, and I use this. So you can experiment with that, but print, oh, because I forgot that one. So I can put green 3 in the field, and then it didn't, A is not defined. Okay, well, you guys know what I'm trying to do. I don't know why it's telling me that. This is, usually that happens, is B, oh, A, because I put a B, right? And then my cursor changed all of a sudden, and things are not looking good here. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's try again. Green 3, and it still doesn't want to do that. Green is out of range. Print line 12. Print is out of range. That happens to me before, and I forgot how I fixed it. Oh, maybe it's because this is here. Let me try again. So anyway, you can see the potential for this, even though I can't figure out what's going on right now. Why? Oh, that is, I'm gonna put a number and see if that fixes the problem. Yeah, that makes sense. Green 3, there it is, it worked. Yeah, so here I put, so it's printing the letter P, so it puts it, yeah, P is a different string. Yeah, I'm glad, thank you so much. I'm glad everybody's paying attention to what is going on here. So right now it's inserting, anytime I put green 3, so it's adding a P after, and every time it runs the loop, it's adding a P, because I'm using B is index 1, which is P. So you can see here how you can manipulate these strings, and there are a lot of ways to manipulate strings. I put all this here at the end. You can go through this tutorial and it tells you everything how to manipulate strings. You can also use, instead of, you can actually store data like you can take Excel data and put it on a list, and you can actually do this, like take data, name data, or even numbers, and store it in strings and put it here, and then you can, in this one, you find the name Emma in a series of in this list through this little code. So, and here use exit, which is kind of like break. Exit 0, exit 1 is like you can run that one. So we're almost done. So yeah, you made it to the end of the class, the session. Thank you so much. Now, what is left? What is left is for you to practice. So I would suggest you look at the video from the CS50. If you start at this time, a minute of 1:51:23, you're gonna be going through some tutorials that is gonna help you expand your knowledge, and I think you can do it now by yourself if you follow, if you are able to do all what we have done so far. This is gonna be really, you can follow them easily. He goes through different tutorials here that are very interesting and I think applicable too. For homework, this is, you can go through this tutorial for string manipulation. Also, if you are interested in a challenge to create a cipher is like one of those spy disks that you move to find decipher a code, kind of like what they did in World War II. If you watch The Imitation Game, it's kind of like that. So you can use strings and lists to decipher, and I have here a tutorial that can help you create the code for that. And let's see what else is there. And if you want more tutorials, they are right here. If you go here to the beginning, there is a link that you click, which is this presentation here, and I have more tutorials that you can do. Of course, there is a Codecademy. If you like, if you are into hands-on electronic, you can try Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is programmed in Python. We have some Raspberry Pis here in the makerspace, so if you want to test it out, you might want to talk or let me know, and I'll give you a contact information. They are very fun, and if you are a person who likes to touch and create things with your hand, this is a great way to learn Python. We have books for Python programming for Raspberry Pi, and here in the library. And also, you can look at the different tutorials. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna get your information so you are registered for the web design. And for now on, it's just practice, practice, practice. And oh, there is a really good on the more training. Was it a more training? There is a one that I put that is very interesting too, is how to do. I'll put it on later. Who asked me about that? Somebody asked me about Python. Automate the boring stuff. That's a tutorial that it has a lot to do with Python. And I don't know where I put it, but I promise you I'll put it on the Slack so you guys can look at it. But for now, keep practicing. Let me know of any questions, and let me know how it goes. Oh, yeah. Also, it was Praveen. So let me find the link I gave Praveen, the book. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the Tuesday class. So that's other things that you find. They're very practical, and that book is free. So you can follow also the tutorials and try to, you know, keep practicing and integrate Python into your daily work. Okay, well, you guys have a great evening. I'll see you, most of you, on in 2 weeks, and keep slacking and let me know how it goes and how I can help you. Okay, so you guys have great evening. I'm gonna stay in Slack for a little bit, see if you guys have any questions, if I remember something I forgot. So thank you so much.